story of the mother, bio mom, and the stepfather, I don't believe it. I don't
You
want to
don't
make accusations.
you don't personally believe it at this point?
I didn't believe it from the beginning.
Okay.
Um, but
Okay.
okay, this is speculation because I don't have 100% clarity. I didn't listen to the recording. The father was waiting to hear from me. He wanted me to call, so I did. And we discussed, and I just told him some things I remembered. And I really felt like he's in no place to hear anything bad. Like,
Right.
you know, your
It
son
would be
is
too much.
deceased. I believe your son is deceased, like that. He's not in that kind of mindset. He really wants to find him alive. I mean, this is a man who literally lived in San Diego, California. He was married to this woman. And what he told me was multiple occasions while he was sleeping, this woman would drink. She had severe mood swings. And even before he said that, I asked if she was bipolar because I was just getting, these vibes. And he said that she's never been diagnosed with that, but her sister has. So if it does run in families, and he was saying she does have severe mood swings, and that he had been like fully sleeping on multiple occasions where she actually attacked him, according to Seth. And yeah, so that she did have a history of violence as well. So the stepfather, it sounds like from the chatter, has a history of violence. And according to the bio dad, the stepmother also has a history of violence.
That's like
and yeah, and he said that while they were married, she really couldn't deal with Sebastian very well. Now, remember, everything I'm saying is from his perspective, and that's what he's saying, but that she couldn't really deal with the extra complexities of having an autistic child.
Okay.
Because you are doing a lot of giving, and anytime you have a disabled child, it's more work. You spend more time, and they have special needs. That's why they're called special needs, right?
Yeah.
And so, according to the stepfather, she also would drink to excess to the point where, like, she urinate right in their bedroom. He said, like, literally get that wasted and be very violent when she was that wasted.
Wow.
So, let's see. He also said, like I told you, so I had said I saw a little scuffle. Like, I didn't see a conspiracy to commit murder, like not like a plan thing, like let's get rid of this kid. More like what Seth told me was that the stepfather, is that Chris, the stepfather?
Yes.
That Chris had told him a couple months ago that their marriage was on the rocks, that he no longer wanted to deal with the problems of Sebastian and the problems of his ex-wife and his own problems. Like, he was done, and that their marriage might be ending. So Seth has come out publicly and said that Sebastian was due to come live with him. But if you're talking about pressure in the marriage that could contribute to somebody losing their temper, and then, like you said, she, according to Seth, she's trained martial arts.
Yeah,
extensively. So she has the ability to cause damage. According to Seth, she's very quick tempered and has mood swings. Now, I don't know if still alcohol or later, but this marriage has only been going on a couple of years. And if I'm hearing Seth correctly, this guy from Tennessee, she met him, they got married, and he wanted to bring her back home to Tennessee. And Seth moved all the way to Tennessee as well, because he wants to be in the life of his son. Like, he is really attached to Sebastian. And they might both have a little, I don't know if they both have that, I forgot what it's called. It's on the spectrum,
Asperger's.
I don't know if they both have that, or if the father, but he's really, I mean, the stories he told me, stories he told me, he would kind of go into a little like if they did something to Sebastian, they need justice. But then he would move into stories about his son around the campfire and building a fire with him and fishing with him and doing the. I don't think he said Sebastian really fished much, but it was just like taking him there and just really intense bond with his son. And so there's something the stepfather continuously says that drives me insane. Every time the issue comes up of what happened, the stepfather sits there and says, "Oh, I was at work." And it's like, wait a minute. Yeah. Didn't he leave at 4 a.m.?
Well, that is one thing, Donna. From what I understand, he was not in town at that point. According to one of the people I spoke to, the month of February until the 26th at 1 p.m., supposedly he was not around. And if I'm incorrect and somebody truly knows the inside details, please let me know in the comments. But that's what I understand, according to somebody I spoke to. And they know the details because they know. That's all I can say.
Because on interview, wasn't he saying that he left at 4 a.m. to go to work? Didn't he say that?
If that's the case, I haven't heard it. But if that's the case, that's really suspicious. Seriously.
See, I don't know either. I thought he said that, and I was thinking either there's like, so is the last known sighting still on the video camera from the restaurant at 6 p.m.? Is that the last known sighting?
The last known sighting is actually Sebastian getting the mail in the evening on Sunday, the night of the 25th. So yes, he was seen in the restaurant, but then he was also seen outside of his house taking the trash to the street.
That's what time? Do you know what time?
I believe they told me it was between 6 and 8. It was in that window.
Oh, okay. So it was after they came home from the restaurant?
Yes.
And then see, this is the thing. Autistic children are a lot of work. All right. And my friend across the street from me, so I watched her son grow up across the street from me, and he was autistic. And he was very nice natured, except if he was having a meltdown. And like they went to a hotel before and he had a meltdown. And so she said, well, I'm going to go get food and bring it back for you. Then I'm not letting you come to the restaurant with the other two children. And so they left to go to the restaurant, which was just across the parking lot. And he threw the hotel room television right out the window. I mean, it's
wow.
And I have a video she sent of now when the boy is like 20, smashing out her Jeep. And normally he's the nicest kid. Like I've seen him for years. I've never even, other than from a distance, seen him having a meltdown, but he's always come out. He says hi to me and he seems happy. And, you know, she always would send him back to his room and stuff, but I actually liked his presence. And I was watching your chat and I was watching some people talking about the possible SA stuff or whatever.
Yes.
Or with him and why the stepdad wouldn't let I don't know why their personal reason was. I do know that the boy across the street, he seemed normal all the time. He never seemed perverted or weird or anything like that. But like the thing about boundaries and what you should and should do and putting the brakes on, he was brought home by the police on 2 separate occasions because he took his clothes off at the park.
Oh, geez. And you're saying he was 20, Donna?
Yeah, he was 20 and he was 20 and he didn't have the comprehension in his mind.
No, that it was inappropriate.
Right. Oh, so he didn't try to hurt anybody, but he did and he started pleasuring himself at the park.
Oh, geez.
He took all his clothes off. And so for I lived over there for over 20 years. So I saw him since he was a little kid growing up. And I never once saw him act weird. I never got creepy vibes. It wasn't like that at all. It was just, I don't think he really could grasp that. So I don't know the situation personally. You know, why did Chris, the stepdad, not want him around his daughter? Had something like that happened? Or, you know, Chris seems real controlling. Did he want the other kids to think, you listen to me or else? But somehow that doesn't really work, I don't think, if someone's autistic. Like, I'll just use the example. my daughter Nicole, right, who's now deceased, she had Tourette syndromes that it came around age 9 and left, after when she was a teenager. But when there were times of stress in the house, she would end up having more tics. And with the tics, with the raise in tics, she would also have more meltdowns. And if she had a meltdown, there wasn't a whole lot that you could do about it. But when it was over, then she'd say, oh, could we just act normal? Or could we just, like, she would feel bad, but it was like she didn't have the control over it. Because like with that, it's electrical impulses. And the same thing with autistic kids. I mean, it's a lot of work. And so the thing about locking him out of the house, could they have done that? That's possible. When I had Nicole, I went to every parenting class I could find to help her. And that is one of the things that they tell you for kids with problems like that is, or any kid that has a temper, they'll tell you, if to take them out and just tell them to knock on the door when they're ready to come back in, and like that.
Like, so, let them have their meltdown and then okay.
Get them outside, shut the door, tell them to knock on the door when they're done. That it didn't really work when I tried it twice. So I didn't do it anymore, but I've heard that that's part of training of therapy. So it's like, it's not necessarily, but I did see a bit of a scuffle take place. So like, and it's, again, the psychic is the same level of speculation for all reasons, for every legal reason, for every, court reason or whatever. It's not even, and nobody's right all the time, but I did see a little bit of scuffle. So I told the father, Seth, I said, I told him about it. And he says, oh, that's when he told me that he had the fluid on his brain, and that if he did get a head injury, he could die. And so that's a real serious thing. And it could, I tend to think, I would be surprised if later they came out and said anything like happened on purpose. Like, the reality is, if something happened like what I saw, they should have just called the police and told them what happened, because things happen unless there was enough bruising where it was like, okay, mom and or dad went way out, mom and or stepdad went way out of control. Right. So, I don't believe their public story at all. I put no faith in it. And I like Chronicles of Olivia, but she had the moment to be in their house. She didn't even ask the mom do you believe your son's alive?
I know. There was
it would have been nice to see her facial reactions and her body language. And then that one weird interview where they would only show their hands. That was like, are you kidding? If my 15-year-old was missing, I would be in the camera every minute they let me. I would let everyone in my house. I'd be begging for help. I know, that's the thing is when I imagine what a parent of a missing child is supposed to be like, I don't think, and I hate to say this, but I don't think they fit the bill right now. They don't seem, there's no urgency. We got to find him now. Where the hell is my son? They seem they seem more concerned with controlling the story.
Yeah.
They want to control the story, and the stepfather keeps taking over. I don't see any tears dripping down her face. Like,
I know.
I mean, it feels to me that she knows what happened already. But there's the possibility, like I saw him going like this. There's a possibility, like, could they've gotten a scuffle and then he like took off? I don't know. And so I asked Teresa, who's my main admin on my face group, her son's autistic, and I met her during the Lori Vallow case regarding JJ. And she said her son won't walk in the grass either barefoot. Mm-hmm. So it's
pretty common, honestly.
What? Yeah, common. So could he have tried to, in his mind, like, I'm going to go to my father's, I'm leaving, I'm done with this? He could have. And like, if I was in Tennessee, what I would be doing is, that's the first thing I would rule out, is I would just drive from the bio mom's house to the bio dad's house to kind of see if I sensed anything, and then I would also then drive from the bio mom's house to the stepdad's work and see if I kind of was triggered by anything on the way, to see if, if he was home. If he was home, the whole thing about leaving at 4 a.m. means nothing if the last time he was seen was 7 hours before that.
Right. Totally.
I mean, they actually could have even done something that night, left their cell phones at home, and come back by 3 when he had to go to work.
Totally. If you plan this out right, I could see how cops would, law enforcement would not know what happened, right? Because they rely so much now. Law enforcement relies a ton on technology and the digital stuff in the computers and the phone and this and that.
Oh yeah.
There's not enough walk and talk type, investigation now. It's so much reliant on the technology that, like, if you do all the right things, I think you could evade justice now.
Well, yeah, if you have half a brain, you'll leave your cell phone at home when you dump a body. I mean, like, I hate to say it that way, but we watch all these people that are just total complete idiots, and part of the reason they get convicted is these cell phones, right?
100%. Yeah.
So if if he was there and he helped her and he left the cell phone, and I'm just saying if he was home and Sebastian was having a meltdown and the mom was like getting him on the head, trying to get him off her. Right. I mean, it could have started out very innocently. It could have started out with not necessarily her going after him, but it trying to contain him and kind of, and the stepfather putting a chokehold. And I'm not saying that he did. I don't know that. I didn't even listen to the recording. I didn't see it. I just kind of thought after I talked, I'll listen to it. Because I was hoping after I talked to Seth, I was like, you know what? He really wants to, I'm just going to pray for Sebastian to come home and like with everyone else and hope for the best. And I mean, it's not looking good the longer it goes. But again, like Seth said, he thought that he kept telling the police that their area that they were searching should be bigger and wider because he said Sebastian can walk really fast. And so did Teresa, my friend, the admin, whose son is autistic. She said her son can go. Like, if they just get an idea in their head. So, yeah.
But Donna, with no shoes on.
Yeah, I know. It
boggles my mind.
I personally, my personal feeling is I don't believe them. Oh, Seth said that they gave the mom a lie detector test
and that she passed it, right?
I don't know if they ever really say.
Well, I heard she passed it.
Well, she said she passed it.
Yeah, but I mean, I heard from someone else that she passed it.
Yeah,
and I also heard that Chris was pissed.
That's what Seth said, that Chris got really mad at her for agreeing to take one, that she should have a lawyer. So I'm almost guessing they probably already have a lawyer. I'd be surprised if they didn't have a lawyer. Yeah. Like, we don't really know, I don't think. No. But yeah, it's clear that Chris is trying to control this narrative for sure. And I don't put any stock in anything that the bio mom or the stepdad is saying at this point. And then that's kind of being nice about it. I'm trying to tone myself, and unless I'm 100% sure of something, I don't want to. Like I would see flashes of forest and stuff like that. As far as where he could be, I don't want to though make any accusations unless I'm 100% sure. Like if I, with the Brian Koberger thing. The only thing I remembered was bread. And then 4 days later, I listened to it and I was like, oh my God. I had zero conscious memory of what was on that recording. So I'll listen to it. I was just, I was just praying for Sebastian to come home, and I could tell he's just smile lights up a room. And so gleaming happy, with his teachers from his school and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's hard to think that somebody could have happened to him, but with their marriage in shambles, with the stepdad being controlling and violent, the mom having mood swings and being violent, and the stepdad saying, I want out of the marriage, I'm not taking care of Sebastian and his problems anymore.
That's a big deal.
That's a high level stress right there in the marriage, in the house.
Yes.
And then the mom also had resentment against the biological father. When she was in San Diego, she actually tried to get him to agree that he didn't have to pay child support, but never be able to see Sebastian. And he said he was actually the main caretaker of Sebastian, that she's the one who couldn't handle it. And moved across the country. And he said that he felt for a while, he felt that Chris was actually more of an ally than his ex-wife, because Chris said you have to respect the fact that his father moved across the country to be around him and do the visitation properly and stuff like that. So she also has resentments against him. So all this could have put her in a state of stress where if she already has violent tendencies and mood swings and he's having a meltdown, maybe she reacted. And I'm just saying maybe, and I'm not accusing, but that's kind of my feelings on it.
Well, I feel like we're all sort of theorizing along those lines, Donna.
Yeah.
Because it is so weird. A kid disappears. He's 15 years old. He's autistic. He thrives in routine. Why is he going to leave the house, let's say between the hours of 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., if that's what it was? It doesn't compute.
It's extremely unlikely unless he had a flash thought in his head, like, I'm done with this house. I'm going to my dad's.
Right.
But even then, I would think he would have put his shoes on if he was going to do that. Unless he was being abused or she pushed him out and locked the door and he took off. But if she had only pushed him out and locked the door, I think that she would have said that on the news. Hey, then the story would be, hey, we were doing, this, because it's not non-violent, trying to manage these meltdowns, right? We at the advice of therapist or whatever, we locked him outside because he was having a meltdown and he disappeared. That would have been the official story if that was the case, because that's not against the law and people would understand, so it's, it doesn't look good for Sebastian, unfortunately.
It doesn't. Do you, and I know you probably altogether, do you think he's deceased at this point? I know you probably don't even want to weigh in, but that's how you feel as of now. Yeah,
probably. I hold out that 1% hope. I've been praying for him every day.
Yes,
that he'll come home alive. See, that's one thing I have on these cases too. It's super hard. I have to get over the hurdle of accepting that someone might be dead.
I know.
When I'd rather have them be alive. I want them to be alive, and to be able to see their death, you have to accept that, to see what's really there. And it's not looking good for him, but that, I keep thinking of that on Inside Edition, where the one autistic young man is found 3 years later and he'd been wandering around the country.
That's crazy.
Literally. Yeah. I know. And so that holds out until they find remains. And the one problem in Tennessee is look at all those woods everywhere.
Tons. It's so vast. Yeah, it's hard to even imagine how you could find him. It's a needle. He's a needle in a haystack out there. For people who might not know who you are yet, because they're new to this case, they're new to this true crime community. So how I met Donna is back in 2020. I stumbled upon one of her videos. At the time, there were 2 missing kids out of Idaho. Their names were JJ and Tylee, and she was channeling what happened to them. And I didn't believe in that kind of thing at all. And for the people that have been here a long time, I'm sorry, this story is old to you because you know what happened. But for those who don't, it was so mind-blowing to me once they found these kids in exactly the position, the situation, all the same exact details that she had said 5 months before. I mean, things that came out in the trial that were exact, the minutia detail, unbelievable. And so that changed my opinion that, there is a place for psychic detectives like Donna in the true crime community. Now, I know it's extremely taxing for her. This is very hard for her to see, these different deaths.
The children are harder. When I do the ones on the adults, it for some reason doesn't affect me that way. Okay. But like the last reading I did was on that little Audrey, the missing girl in Texas. And I probably shouldn't have, because when I first saw her coloring was identical to my own daughter, who's deceased and was murdered. And I went in a spin out, honestly, for like 2 days. I was crying and crying and crying. I never even edited or uploaded the thing. I was just crying and crying and crying. And the children are just real hard to see,
know.
because it's so sad.
It is.
It's just so sad when they haven't even started their life, and like Madeline Soto and, just all of them. It's just a nightmare, and prayers for all of these children.
Speaking of Madeline Soto
and their parents.
Dinah, speaking of Madeline Soto, do you have any particular feeling? I know people are probably wondering about the mother in that case.
My personal feeling, yeah, I do have personal feelings about her. I don't know, because I purposely did. So when I can sense that the police are going to find someone, for some reason, I kind of know that. Like, I get the idea on Sebastian that TBI, they got an idea of what happened. But if they have to have evidence and they have to have a body, they can't do anything. With Madeline, you're asking about the mom?
Yes. Jen.
This is my feeling. No. Am I going to believe that happened for 5 years on the other side of a thin wall, and she did not know?
I know.
Or take part? And was he selling these photos to his friends and trading them with groups of people? That's a problem right now with all these predators. They've hooked up on these networks online, and they share and they trade, and they sell this stuff.
They do.
And do I believe the mom had no knowledge? No, I don't believe that for a second.
Okay.
At all. I
think most of us feel that way. Yeah.
It'd be hard not to pummel her.
Oh, I know.
Can you imagine sitting there being a cop, especially if you have an idea that this was going on for 5 years at least?
And that she could have known that her daughter was being brutalized.
Do we know that she didn't participate, or do we know that he wasn't selling this stuff and she's benefiting from the money? Or that she was so desperate for a boyfriend that she let him have her daughter? I think too many mothers look the other way when they're insecure. They don't have their own identity. They don't want to be alone, and they offer up their daughter. No, I have no sympathy for her. I am so sorry. I apologize. Maybe I should, but I don't. In fact, I just feel anger about her.
I felt anger too. It's maddening. How could you not protect your kids? Like your beloved daughter? Are you kidding? Throwing her to the wolves? That's what it feels like. And maybe, who knows, maybe she didn't know, but it feels like she knew.
How do you not know for 5 years? Yeah. How do you not know? Really? Come on. And was she on just the other side of the wall? Oh yeah. I'm sleeping. And who did I do? I just did a barely light reading. I don't even think I listened to that one either, but I was picking up the mom being drugged, and then the mom came out publicly later, so it only really confirms it for me. But the mom came out later and saying she was on medicine for bipolar, and that it sedates her so much she sleeps super heavy, which is what she told her friend. But did she tell her friend that in case anything ever came out, so that she wouldn't seem guilty? I don't know. I 100% believe the mom was aware. I think the only question is whether she did it on purpose, but that's just speculation. 100% speculation, right? I'm not doing a reading and staying on the accusation that I saw her do this, because it's like, I saw what happened to Summer Wells, and that stuff doesn't leave your mind for a long time. And I don't want to see what happened to Madeline Soto. I don't want to see. I call me mean, but you know what? He'll get taken care of in prison.
Oh, I hope so. Oh my gosh.
He'll get his karma in prison, and I really hope. I would like the mom to get arrested. And everyone looks at these women and they're like, all these people grow up who've been molested, and they say, I told my mom over and over. I told my mom, and my mom told me to shut up. My mom told me to quit making accusations. My mom said it wasn't true. How do I know if it's true? Bullshit. I call bullshit.
It is.
I call bullshit. And to me, 5 years of this going on, and she's pretending not. Oh, she's innocent. Oh, and she's lawyered up.
Yeah. Is that actually confirmed? Because I didn't know that was confirmed, Donna. If she has,
I think I heard that on Court TV.
Probably has. Okay, then
so I'm not 100%. You know, I don't know. I didn't talk to her lawyer. I'm not there. Right. But I did hear that somewhere while, you know, I put it on some point and heard that. Sure. Now, I think it was yesterday, and I think it was Court TV, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's, you know, I just know she disgusts me, and she does not have my sympathy at all.
Oh, no.
At all. I feel angry towards her that she did not protect her daughter, and she let this go on for that long.
I know. And the thing is this would have started when Madeline was like 8 or 9. And I think about my own daughter. My daughter is 9 right now, and she's such a precious baby. To me, she's still such a baby.
Oh yeah, no, this is really there's no excuse. This man doesn't even. This man, what's the guy's name that did this?
Stefan. Yeah,
you know.
And how could he day in day out do this to a child? I don't understand the thinking. And I know you worked in juvenile. What was it? Juvenile parole, and you met all these weirdo.
I was a social worker at juvenile parole. So parole is when people have been at the state institution. It's the most serious crimes. Teenagers who've committed murder, and most of them, what this guy did. Tell me his name one more time.
Stefan Stearns.
Yeah. So there, I'll tell you about this one. I heard that this one who had passed. Oh, by the way, as far as lie detector tests go, it doesn't matter if you pass. All they measure is stress. They measure if you're breathing faster, and the benefit, because we used to have someone coming in to our office, and so I've talked with the guy. I've seen them go in and out. The benefit of a lie detector test is a lot of people, once they're all strapped up, they break down and start talking. That's the benefit. If someone's a sociopath, they can pass a lie detector test. So there was this really good looking guy, right? I mean, 6 feet tall. He looked like he could be on GQ magazine. He was straight A student. He had a steady girlfriend. He was on the cheer team. He had lots of friends at school. He was doing very well. And he had already been in the state institution for of a child, right? And
gosh, really?
Yeah. And so he had been out for 3 or 4 years, and he had now turned about 20, but he was still being monitored. So I asked if I could go interview him at the county jail, because I wanted to learn, like, why did he do this when he had everything going for him? Why did he do this? And also how he passed the lie detector test. And he did let me interview him. We talked for like an hour or two. What he told me on the lie detector test was that every time they asked him, and obviously he has sociopathic tendencies, but really attractive and sociable, you wouldn't look at him and go, ooh, what a weirdo, right? So how he passed the lie detector test, he said that every time they asked him a question, he would just ask his own question. So if they said, did you do this to a little kid? He would say, did I stop at Taco Bell yesterday? No. And then he would answer his own question. So so there would be no rhythmic. Yeah, easy. Not a problem. He had passed multiple lie detector tests over the years that he was being monitored. And then I said, well, why did you do it? Like, you got all this going for you. You could have all kinds of girlfriends, and you got a pretty girlfriend. You got straight A. Like, why? And what he told me was that anytime he felt beaten down by the world, anytime, like if he had a bad test score, if he lost a job, whatever it was, he said going and harming this 4-year-old boy, it started as soon as he got out. He never was rehabilitated. They don't get rehabilitated. This is a desire they have in their brain. And once you know someone does that, they will always do it because they have that desire. But he said that he felt a feeling of power. So he had started, when he got out, there was a 4-year-old boy, and he started harming him that way until he got caught when the boy was 8. So this went on for 4 years before the boy told anybody. And he said that what would happen is if he felt stressed and he felt not successful and he felt not good enough, or he had some problems that were overwhelming him, if he would go harm this child, this innocent child, it would give him such a feeling of power. Like not what he would get with his girlfriend, but over this child. Actually, the act of harming him, the act of making him cry, the act of seeing this helpless kid begging for mercy, that would give him a rush. That would give him power.
So
and it made all his bad feelings go away. And then it restored his feeling of I'm powerful, I'm strong, I'm this, I'm that. And that's one reason. That's one reason they do it. The other reason is they could just be flat out, like in this case with Madeline Soto. He's attracted to that type. He gets a job where he has access to that type. He finds a woman who's he's going to be looking for a woman who doesn't have high self-esteem, who's dependent and clingy, who doesn't have a stepfather or anyone. Like the stepfather's in another state. So here she is with the kid, and he's going to step in and be her knight in shining armor. And she's going to give him her kid and pretend she isn't seeing what the heck's going on, that this guy has more interest in the kid than her. She's going to encourage the kid. Oh, you like him, don't you? And it's like, you know what? People, listen to your kids, and if something happens, stop making excuses, because stuff happens. But are we to believe that in 4 or 5 years, this Madeline never was close enough with her mother to talk to her mom about what was going on? I don't believe that.
Yeah, I could see her mom just shitting her, just, hey, okay. He's good to us. He helps pay the bills. Like,
exactly.
You have to accept him like somebody
exactly.
else.
Yeah. And she doesn't want to be alone, right? She doesn't, she already got abandoned by the bio dad, and she doesn't want to be alone. So she's going to look the other way while this guy gives her child more attention than he gives her, and wants to be alone with her child. And it's like, there's red flags everywhere. And sometimes stuff does happen. Like this 4-year-old boy, he didn't say anything till he was 8. And sometimes they'll trick the children and tell them, I'll kill your mom.
Yes.
If you tell, your mom's actually not going to like you. She likes me, and she likes me, so she's going to get rid of you. But it's like, it's pretty hard to believe that, because my daughter, Nicole, when she was 3, she peed her pants, and I was cleaning her, and she told me, essentially, long story short, her mother, my mother's boyfriend, had started touching her, and I had let my mom babysit a couple times. I called the police on him. I would have wanted to hit him with a baseball bat. I was so angry, and I told the police that, and they said, well, that's understandable. And they went as far as filing charges. They arrested him. They were gonna, but you know what these pedophiles know is they don't put kids under 5 on the stand, at least at that time. That's what the DA told me. So they had tried to get him to confess, and he wouldn't. So they didn't put him. They dropped the charges because Nicole was only 3 years old. And even though I brought her like to the CPS therapist or whatever that has all these puppets, and so I brought her there a bunch of times. Like, I'm the one who called the police, and he was never allowed at my house again. It's like, I would kill to protect my child.
And that was your mom's boyfriend for a period of time. Did you say
my mom's boyfriend did that? So these pedophiles can be anywhere. And like people really need to know is, when I worked at the parole office, one thing that I thought was very striking was the fact that the pedophiles I monitored, and it was a revolving caseload of 25 people, right? That went up to like, I think age 21 or something. And they were in every socioeconomic group. And we see the obvious ones, that are paraded around and they look really weird. It's like, oh, you could tell.
Whatever.
But most of them don't look like that. Most of them look like everybody you see. Everybody.
That's so scary.
And they were at the low income schools, they were at the middle class schools, and they were at the higher class neighborhood schools. So they were all across the board. And
every social strata.
Yeah.
Every
And
single shred.
you know why I just finally asked to be laid off from there? I literally felt like I'd rather clean toilets in a hotel
Yeah.
than talk to one more SO. I really felt that way. And what really made me feel this way is a mother that was doing this to all 5 of her kids. And we were monitoring one of them, and one of the siblings committed S, and then self-harm and died. And then the father moved out, and we were like, oh good, the father moved out. And the mother, she looked like Mrs. Beaver Cleaver. She looked like a upper middle class housewife with the perfectly coiffed hair, and she never hovered. You would think that someone like that would hover, and I felt really bad because usually I was like, my intuition is super good. And even the parole officer, so I'd work in conjunction with a parole officer, and I was a social worker, so I had overlapping caseloads. Neither of us was suspicious of the mother. She stayed her distance, but then the young man was called up on this lottery system for a lie detector test. The mom brought him. She was told to wait out in the parking lot. The mom was, while they brought him back there. And once he was strapped up to that machine, he told the whole story.
Oh, my
and the
God.
mom was doing things to all of them and overseeing them doing things to each other, to 5 kids.
The
mom. And that's why you can't look at Madeline Soto's mom and think, oh no, she's a mom and mom loves her children. Well, I love my children. You love your children. Most of us love our children, but not all of us. Not Lori Vallow, not Letitia Stausch. And
so true.
I just have a hard time at all with any sympathy for Madeline's mom. I feel outraged at her. Really, I do.
I do too. I don't know, about 6 months ago or so, we were staying with some relatives. And these are relatives we see usually about once a year, sometimes every couple of years. And the mom of, how do I say this without giving people away? Let me think. We'll just say a distant family member has a ton of different boyfriends. Every time we're there, she's got a new boyfriend. Every time, Donna, every time, new boyfriend. Over the years, we've probably seriously seen like 20. And that's over the last 20 years. Every time it's somebody different. Anyway, she, I guess, was approached by her boyfriend, this lady, okay, to have a threesome with her daughter and this guy that she was with. And she didn't shut him down. And the daughter was actually approached by the guy. Oh, we should, do this. She tells her mom and she goes, yeah, I know. He's just kidding. No, the dude was not kidding. So I was talking to the daughter of the woman who, again, I don't want to give this away. We'll just say I was talking to the daughter, and the daughter told me that mom didn't even protect her at all. She dismissed it, didn't think it was anything of significance, didn't care. And he was trying to get what she was 15 years old and
continued seeing the guy. She continued seeing the guy. Women need to take responsibility. I mean, there's red flags. There's no excuse. So is she still living with her mom? Your relative?
No, luckily she's grown up now, but she was telling me these horror stories from her childhood. And I was like, Steve and I always wondered what was going on because we would see your mom with a different boyfriend every time.
Yeah.
And we only wondered, but we knew there was something not right. But I mean, tons of different boyfriends, and God only knows how many tried to touch the daughter.
And that the mom looked the other way because the mom wants to have these boyfriends. Yeah. These moms make justifications to kind of look the other way, and there needs to be less of an excuse for that, I think. Yeah, and you know what? Quite often it is relatives that do stuff like that. Or I just think there's a lot of mothers who pretend they don't know what's going on when they kind of have an idea.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, they do. Because it's an inconvenient truth. Who really wants to face that that's what's going on?
Yeah.
That's
Then they need
that's
a babysitter because they need to work, and this guy picks up their kid and takes the kid out for ice cream, and it's all convenient. And then the guy gives them a little attention and then really wants to be alone with their kids. You know, it's real common.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
SA is much more common than we realize.
Oh, it is, Donna. I read stories, I feel like all the time in comments, especially as it relates to the Madeline Soto case. This affected a lot of people because it hit home to them because they had gone through their own previous trauma.
Yeah.
And it's like, that could have been me, right? You know, it really brings
Oh,
that
yeah.
to mind.
And she's 13 years old, so she
Right.
spent the last 4 years of her childhood being abused by this guy, and then he kills her. And you got to figure, oh, he kills her the day after her 13th birthday. She probably said, I'm 13 now. I don't have to put up with this. Leave me alone. Don't do this to me. And he felt like he owned her, and then he did that, you know, and it's just, it's outrageous because that human life, she was tortured for years and then killed by this guy.
Horrible existence.
And what, we're supposed to believe the mom? Oh, the mom never heard her crying out while she was being harmed by him on a regular basis.
And it was like the worst level of harm, Donna. We're talking parts of her that should have never been, you know, it was the extreme.
She would have been screaming. It's like, her, you know, I'd like to, I can't even say on here what I'd like
I wish
to
I
do
could
to the
take
mom.
us back to that dude. I do.
Oh, him? Oh, yeah, him. He deserves the death penalty for sure. For sure. And he'll get it. He'll probably get it one way or the other. It sounds like they have enough evidence on him anyways. And it's to do with, was the mom, like, were they selling these videos? And then the mom's like, oh, yay, we get all this money. Or, oh, yeah, I'm so desperate for a boyfriend that I'm going to let you destroy my daughter.
Yeah,
you know,
that desperate, man.
Oh, I would have smashed his head in. I would have smashed his head in with a bat. Like, literally.
I know. That's how I feel. I was telling my husband, I'm like, this, I don't think I could have stopped. I wouldn't have had any sort of restraint with this dude if I saw him and knew that he had done that to my daughter. No, he's gone.
Oh no. I would have killed him myself. If that was my daughter and she was 13 and he killed her, he would have been dead before they got arrested. And I wouldn't care because
I know,
like I'd feel with my daughter, she's dead and I have to create a reason for even being alive every day.
I know, Donna.
I have to find meaning instead of having meaning. And I wouldn't have even had that guy walking around my house at that point.
Absolutely not. I know. It's just it's the worst, the absolute worst.
And she seemed like in the mom of Madeline, when she was talking, she seemed like it was real controlled too, like the stepfather and Sebastian.
100%.
Yeah. Like I'm telling in the confines of this controlled story and I'm remembering what I'm supposed to say. You know?
Right. And like,
that's the same feeling from him.
Yeah. It's almost like
Sebastian's stepdad.
It's like he has his hands around her neck saying, this is what you're going to say, you know?
Yeah.
You say what I'm telling you to say.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, something
like he's probably saying, well, we'll be together. And if you don't say that, then they're going to take me away and you're going to be all alone again.
Right.
You know, she's like,
he had no interest in her.
No, it was her daughter he was after. And any woman with single children. But see, my mother was a psychiatric social worker in a state prison. Wow. Yeah, starting when I was a teenager. So she would tell me stories all the time of like what these people did. And she was always warning me about, well, one, she said there's tons of men in there. She said it's almost always the boyfriend or the stepdad because not the biodad. So the woman's a single mom. Commonly, the mom will be glad she finally got a babysitter so she can go off to work. But the boyfriend will shake the baby, and they have these really weak necks when they're babies. So it's like they're not even trying to do it, but they don't know how to take care of it. They're not attached to it, and they shake it thinking they're going to make it control the baby and make it stop. Well, that doesn't work. It breaks their neck. So she would say there's a ton of men in there and also of these essays too, ton of them You got to be careful. There's no reason to advertise if you're on a dating app that you have. Well, you see, you want to say, "Oh, I have children," because you want someone who will put up with that. But really, it's none of their business. It'd be better to weed them out yourself and waste the extra time than advertise that you've got 3 potential victims for an essay to harm, because they're looking for single mothers.
Oh yeah, that's what my mom told me too. She said when we were kids, it felt like guys would almost seek her out because she had children. She got red flags from a number of guys, and hey, she was done. She was very protective in the way she needed to be over us, which I'm so thankful for, because that's how I am with my kids. Like, you're gonna give what you got, I feel like, in the past. And my mom was so there for us.
Yeah, you got to watch it. One guy I went out with one time, Nicole had these 2 twin Cabbage Patch type dolls, and one had a braid coming out the top. And I went out on this date with this guy. He was decent looking, and we had a good time. I brought him home. Not to sleep over, but I just wanted to show him my daughter, who was sleeping, who was only 9 months old, right?
Yeah.
So when he brought me home, I said, "Do you want to just come look at her real quick?" And he goes in, and I think she was asleep the whole time, but he picks up her doll without asking. And then he puts his hand like he's going to pull the braid out. And he goes, "Hey, I got an idea. Wake her up and I'll be like this and I'll pull the braid out."
What a weirdo.
Yeah. He said that.
Oh,
and I'm like, he was normal all through dinner. And I was like, "Here, come here. And I opened the back door. I said, "Get out now. Don't ever call me again. Don't ever call me again. Get out of here." Whoa. Good. I was just like infuriated. Like, what kind of freaking weirdo?
That is
how many women would have went, "Oh yeah." You have to protect your children. You have to protect them on the side of being overprotective, because that's what there's so many. I think this SA type personality is more common than we realize, and they're looking for single moms, and single moms need to be way more careful about who they let around their children.
Protect your kids, guys. I know I have a lot of women listeners. Protect them now more than ever, because we've got these predators coming from all directions. Now you got them through the internet. You have to worry about who your kids are chatting with on like Minecraft and stuff. It's worse than it's ever been, I think.
I think too. I think the internet has made it so that they've now formed networks.
Yes.
Where they might have had their small group before or something. Now they find these big networks. They share, they trade, they sell this stuff. And that encourages them to go find more victims, and they reinforce each other. And progressively, they want more intense, more horrible things to turn them on. And things get really bad. It's like how he could have been doing this to Madeline in the other room. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. I think that mom needs to be in prison for a few years herself. I really do.
And I hope if she is guilty, which I feel like she's involved in some way, I think she's going to get hers too.
Yeah,
God wants justice. God wants justice.
Yeah. How could you care so little about your daughter that you let somebody do that? What's written in the, I won't talk about it, but what's written in there is just, there's no excuse.
Yeah, I know. And Stefan, did you ever go over his Reddit posts and stuff, Donna, that he was so into these Tamagotchis? They're those they're digital pets. Okay. So they're about that size of like a key fob thing. And you have to feed them. They have human needs. They have to go to the bathroom. They're going to hatch. They have all these little parts to them, right? All the time he was posting on Reddit about how he's going to order a new Tamagotchi for his stepdaughter. And, he got her this new Tamagotchi. It's this special kind, limited edition, whatever. His main focus and conversation topics throughout Reddit were always about Madeline. It was never about my girlfriend, my fiance. It was never about her.
Yeah.
It was only about Madeline.
The
he
stepdaughter.
Would even post photos of her in there as well.
So that was a veiled way of seeking out other people like himself.
Oh, so true.
Because they like to share images, and sometimes even children.
Right.
Like, I'm going to let you do this to this one. We're going to switch. We're going to, you know what I mean? I mean, it's bad. They're horrible. They're
These
horrible.
guys got to fry in the depths of hell.
Yeah.
That's my hope, you know.
That's what the Bible says. God hates people who hurt children.
Yeah. And yet there's so much of it. It feels so wrong, you know. Ugh. Hate that. Anyway, well, Donna, are you ready if I take some phone calls for a few minutes?
Yeah, go for
We'll
it.
see how people are, you know, have them weigh in and see how they're feeling with everything. Let me log in so I can take the calls. Let's see. Okay, so I'll put the number in the chat. If you want to call, the phone number you're going to call, guys, is going to be, here it is. I'm posting it right now, 602-456-6695. If you want to call and weigh in how you're feeling, whether it's the Sebastian Rogers case, Madeline Soto, you know, what do you think happened? Who do you think did it? Any of that, please give me a call, and you'll be able to, Donna, you'll be able to hear. You might even be able to interact. I don't know how much because I've never done it.
That's all right. Well, it's experimental.
Here. Yeah, it'll be at the least pretty interesting, I think. In the meantime, I can answer some of these comments if there's some. Oh, you know what? Let me also repeat that number one more time. 602-456-6695. Call that number. And you know what? I'll also put it on my screen. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Call that number, guys. You want to talk for a few, weigh in, you're more than welcome to. Anyway, Donna, while we wait for a phone call, I was going to ask you, with the Sebastian Rogers case, do you think it's going to be solved? Do you have any feeling about that?
I feel like TBI has an idea of what happened. Like, that's kind of why I didn't even listen to the reading, because I'll have this feeling the police are on it. The police kind of know what happened, or, you know, it's hard finding a body.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, Donna, call. Okay. Hold on. Hello, this is Lauren. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Hi, who am I speaking with?
This is Beth. Hey, good girl in the chat.
Hey, hi. Good. Nice to talk to you. What are your thoughts as of now?
You too, as well. Well, I've got a little 12-year-old autistic son, and we live about 20 minutes from Sebastian. So obviously, I'm very interested in this case.
Right.
And I know that Seth has been trying to get people, or he's been to the Natchez Trace Park, and he's going back this weekend. Did Donna give any information or help him with trying to decide on locations to search?
Let me ask her. Donna, did you give him any indication on like locations maybe that he should be searching, or no? That's set.
Well, I kind of beat around the bush because I was just kind of touching the subject every now and then about whether Sebastian might even not be with us. And he, in his mind, I just didn't want to make him consider the obvious. I mean, consider that outcome any more than he was ready to. So what I was seeing is flashes of trees around, and then I was shown that kind of lake that had that certain shape.
Okay.
And so I haven't talked to him since I posted in my community section that I talked to him the night before. So that was the only time I talked to him.
Okay. Hopefully you were able to hear that. I think you were, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was. And I wonder, that sparked my interest because I wonder if there's a lake with that shape at that park.
Oh yeah, that would.
I know. There is some lake there, and it's like you look at Tennessee, and there's so many trees everywhere. Like, it is hard, but there should be a way to get clues. But I kind of wanted to wait until the father is ready to see that outcome.
I know. I don't think he's at all ready to face that possibility. Which
And I don't want to
would-
hurt people. It's
Yeah.
like I never planned on having a YouTube channel, and
Right.
I'm trying to make sure that morally I do the right thing by not just blurting out information that traumatizes people and stuff.
For sure. No, we appreciate that, Donna.
Yes, we love your compassion, Donna, and your empathy, and you're just a gift from God and a blessing to so many.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Thank you, Beth.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Yeah, we thank you.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
Okay.
I'm gonna go pull up that map now and see if there's
Hey,
a link
good
to the
idea.
appendix.
Yeah, good idea. Go for it. Well, thank
All
you.
right, ladies. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
we'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. Hey, that's a good point that she makes. Like, what is the shape of the body of water that surrounds this park? I mean, most of the parks in Tennessee have water nearby. So that's a really good question.
Yeah, and I was looking a while ago. I was looking on a map to see if I recognized anything, but I'd have to look probably closer on my laptop and stuff like that.
Okay. And people in the chat, they're asking, who are you? That kind of thing. Again, I'll say I would call you a psychic detective, Donna. Is that okay if I say that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what you
totally.
are.
Completely and
That's what I
totally.
think.
That's exactly what I am.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
it's not a joke, guys. Like, she's no BS. And her work speaks for itself. Yeah.
My work is about 90% or more accurate. And when there's something wrong, it's usually in the interpretation. So say in Chad Daybell's case, on the very first reading, I correctly identified this outbuilding. There's 120 by 40 feet. And I even said it was built to be a workshop. I literally said that. And then somehow in future readings, I started calling it a cabin. I'm pretty sure it did. And Chad's friend who's inside, he said it does have those 3 tables around the edges. He believes it has that sink like I described, that country kind of sink. So it did have these aspects. So when there's something wrong, it'd be like that. It'll be like, or something that's misunderstood, would be like that, because it's almost all visual. And I'm just saying the visions, and then they could be like a person, place, or thing. So trapper at Chad Daybell's Lori Vallow case, I kept seeing a trapper walk by, and then it turns out the next street is Chapper Lane. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so true. I know.
Chapper Lane.
Hello, this is Lauren. Can you hear me? Oh, I think we lost him. Okay. No, Donna.
They tried to call. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, it dropped. Oh, they're calling back. Hold on.
Okay.
Of a fast pickup, we ask you to let us know that you are not a voicemail system, so you need to press 1 to take this call.
I don't know what's happening.
Press something.
Yeah, it's doing something funky. Okay. That was weird. So it was coming through my computer and my phone, which it hasn't done that in a while. Sometimes it glitches out. Call the person who called just now. Could you just call me one more time? It should be okay now. But to what you were saying about Trapper, Donna, that was one of the most memorable things probably in my whole life.
Me too. It was so frustrating when I found out that was Trapper Lane. Is he calling?
Yeah, she's calling. Hi, this is Lauren. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me? I don't know if she can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Lauren, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Hi. Who am I speaking to?
My name's Julia. How are you? Hi, Lauren. Hi, Trevor, Donna.
Oh, good,
Hi.
Julia. We're glad that you're calling. Yeah. How's it going? What's up?
Oh, my gosh. Just between everything that's going on lately, it's like it's one thing after another.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's wild right now.
Seems like a lot of people are killing their children lately.
It does. Yeah, I know.
And you think about it, even when you're, far away, whether you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, it keeps you up at night.
It does.
It's crazy.
It's horrible.
How it works.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable.
So,
couple things here. I know we've covered a lot. I've been on live with you guys, and I jumped off for 20 or 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
I was thinking, the one thing that I keep thinking about are those lights. And
Me
I know
too.
you mentioned it, Lauren.
Yeah.
But to me, that is like the biggest piece of evidence. And I'm curious.
It is.
I read somewhere the flashlight thing with Sebastian. Was it on like a keychain? When I think of a keychain,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like a teeny little light, or was
Mhm.
it like an actual flashlight? You
So-
know what I mean?
Yes, and what I suspect it probably was those little keychain, like little miniature mag lights. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the black ones. That's what I
Yes.
think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it was for sure.
And did those lights cross their yard or just in the common area? Did they go across their actual backyard?
It's so hard to tell, Donna, because the camera that picked it up is from Kellen, from what I understand. So it did pick up like the back side of the yard and then the common area. It's so hard to narrow down. What are these lights? Where are they exactly coming from? Then they're obstructed by the actual bush. So you can't see like where that light goes, unfortunately.
Yeah. But then the person comes out of the bush. I saw him one time, but I didn't watch him over and over. Did the lights go back to the house afterwards?
It seems kind of like they come together and then they like go apart, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe we should watch that video here in a few minutes and see again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's mysterious. It is. And to me, like, how could you say that's not of relevance when that is the only activity really that anybody knows of from that night? Right?
I
And
know.
he vanishes.
It's not like it was at like 8 or 9. We're talking 3 in the morning. There was
Yeah.
no reason for 2 people
Yeah.
to be in a backyard at
I know.
3 a.m. So, I mean, the reason I asked about the flashlight,
Mhm.
kind of what Donna was just mentioning, was this flashlight large enough to show that kind of light? And I guess the reason I say that, and
Yeah.
I think you guys talked about it earlier, but one of my first cousins, a female, has autism. And I know when you're on the spectrum, it can vary, for every individual. But I know my cousin generally was very, overly trustworthy of people. And I think
Okay.
Donna said it too.
Yeah.
They have a kind of a different perception of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
I've heard that.
And I really wonder if, especially if this thing with no shoes, which again, I'm hesitant if it's, true or not,
Right.
but if he was kind of, brought out, geared out of his home, whether that's through like a video game. I don't know if I haven't heard anything about if he was into video games or something like that.
Yeah, it's so mysterious. From what I understand, he did play Minecraft. He had access to, he had a cell phone, but mom claims that he couldn't exactly get on the internet. But I truly think he was probably chatting with people on the internet. You know how our kids can be crafty and hide stuff from us if they want to? Why couldn't he?
That could even be what the fight was about. I mean, they could have fought over someone wanting him to turn off a video game I've seen her publicly claim that he didn't have internet access also.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember recently, maybe a month or so ago, there was that young girl. I don't think she had autism. I think her name was like Ella Jones. And she met some man on some, app.
Yeah.
And she lived in Washington. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, they found her in Michigan. So across the country.
Wow.
See, things could happen. And it's like, until there's a body, I think it's worth praying,
right.
Even in just praying that, could he have tried to run off, got lost, ended up somewhere else?
Mhm.
That would be the best case scenario.
It really would, that he's alive. Yeah. I know. And then oh, what was that?
So many thoughts. It's like, I hate to, like you said, Lauren, there's, you never want to come up with a theory. We're just, we don't know. None of us are law enforcement. Maybe somewhere in the chat, but it's these things that come to mind, you know, it's
It
kind of
is.
a gut feeling.
I know. And right now, my gut feeling is just there's something really wrong going on here. What happened to this kid? And are we ever going to even know? That's what I wonder, you know.
And if the mom doesn't know, why isn't she out there in front of the news cameras every day saying, "Look, we need people in every city around here to be constantly looking for Sebastian." I mean,
Right.
look at the mom of this young man that was
Riley.
just found in the river. Yeah.
Riley, yeah.
I mean, she was there. She was there in front of the cameras, tears or not, makeup or not. She was in front of the cameras trying to get attention on her son so they would put the resources to finding him. And
Right.
I would think that if Sebastian's mom, if her story was accurate, I would think that she would want to be on every news show she could be on. She doesn't need to be there with the father taking over the stepfather taking over the conversation every time, you know?
No, Donna, you're so right. Like when you think about it, just doesn't smell right. It doesn't.
Mhm.
Even if there was death threats,
Mhm.
like where they were scared to go out and search,
Yep.
that is what police enforcement is for. Like they protect you.
Yeah.
There is, to me, that's just not
It's not a good
really
excuse.
excuse, in my
No.
opinion.
No, I agree
So,
with you. It
I don't
isn't.
know. It's so much to take in, but
It
such
is.
a sweet looking young boy.
He's
and,
so cute.
uh,
Yeah. He looks
it's
sweet.
heartbreaking. I can't imagine.
I know.
Now,
It's so
now,
sad.
does she know a autistic child?
Yes, didn't you say that you do you have, is it a 12-year-old? Am I remembering correctly?
Or was it the last caller?
Or was that the last caller? I'm sorry, it's hard to remember.
Me?
Yes.
No, my first cousin, she is, I think, 15, 16.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And she's autistic?
Female,
And she's autistic, right?
autistic.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I resonated with a lot of what Donna said about just, I don't know if I'd call it like being inappropriate, but in their mind, I feel like they're very like forthcoming and giving, almost over trustworthy.
Right.
Where something like this could easily happen, but how? There had to have been whether it was through video games or text or something. So,
Uh-huh. Yep.
So she has a feeling. You have a feeling like there's a possibility that somebody could have lured him out.
Yeah. What do
Is
you
that what you're
think?
saying?
It's, to me, it's a possibility. That's what I wonder with the flashlight and like the action. If even the fact that he had no shoes on, like, did they tell him not to wear shoes because they wouldn't see his footprints and be able to
That's a good
track
question.
the shoe print,
Mhm.
which is like Brian Koberger. They had
Yeah.
that
Right.
footprint right outside the girl's room. Was that like a tactic?
Mhm.
I don't know, but I do feel that a lot of these children with autism can be overly trustworthy, especially when you're just talking to someone
Yes.
over the internet or through text. You don't know.
Great. Right.
And
And I've
that's my
heard,
mind.
yeah, I've heard that he would ride the bus, and maybe the bus, how I feel like a lot of bad stuff can happen on the school bus, honestly. At least when I was growing up, a lot of bad stuff
Mhm.
happened on the school bus. But like, could he have
Yeah.
become friends with somebody, or let's say he thought he was friends with them, and like you said, too trusting, maybe revealed too much. Maybe, could some kid have been like, hey, you should come out with us like at 3 a.m, whatever, okay, yeah, and sets his alarm and then he books it. Is that a possibility? I'm just trying to think of everything, and I feel, yeah, maybe.
Hopefully it turns out to be something like that. Hopefully he turns out to be alive, and I'm just going to keep praying for him.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Well, Donna, I trust Reverend Donna's sort of insight here. It's
For
been
sure.
so long. That's just
It's a
the
long time.
horrible part. It's just far too long, and
It
it's
is.
really sad.
It is.
But you can never give up hope. That's
Yeah.
what I say. Just trust in God, say your prayers, and you never know what could happen.
So true.
Especially at that age, at 15, even if he's autistic, like say if he was in a downtown of some city, he could easily be sitting by the side of a building and everyone walks by because everyone walks by. Yeah, and doesn't even notice him. So, I mean, that would be the best case scenario.
But surviving on no money in America when you've got like extreme inflation, everything costs too much money. The kid,
if he was sleeping in an alley and then you know, passersby give him $1.25 and then he goes, you know, it depends if he, you know, he knows restaurants are food. It could happen. And right when I looked him up the first time, an Inside Edition thing came up right next to it that showed an autistic boy found 3 years later and been walking around since he was 16, kind of lost and disconnected from his family. I guess it didn't occur to him to try to find home or do anything. And the police ran into him. So it's like, you know, I pray for him. I pray that, I mean, we need a good outcome.
We do. We've had some
one of these to have a good
outcomes lately. Yeah,
I know.
Hey, Lauren, I'm going to skip off here. I'll let somebody else call it. I don't want to hang out here.
Oh, no, you're good. Thank you. Okay.
Appreciate your time. And I hope for the best for this situation.
Me too. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your thoughts. Have a good day.
Take care. You guys. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Yeah. It's like, what happened to this precious boy? Like, where is he? And you know, in the end, he could be really close to the home. That's the crazy part. Oh, we're getting a call. Okay. And it looks like a Tennessee number. Hi, this is Lauren. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you and Donna?
Oh, pretty good. Donna looks good. Yeah, I think we're doing all right here. We're just concerned about cute Sebastian. How's it going with you?
Going well. I would say this little boy really this situation breaks my heart because I have a son with Down syndrome and autism.
Okay.
And I don't understand how this mother isn't more. I would be out of my mind.
Me too.
Crazy.
Me too.
Inconsolable. There had been 2 occasions where my son, if I don't watch him, he will wander off.
Oh, okay.
And so I have a creek that's out back at the back of my property, and it's not easy to get to, and it's a far way.
Okay.
So I have to watch him like a hawk. But and I've heard that children with autism are drawn to water.
Ooh.
So I've heard that by Peter Hyatt, who is a statement analyst.
Yes, I've seen him. Yeah.
I'll tell you. Yeah, but another thing that concerns me a great deal is the stepdad.
I know.
He sounds like an angry, controlling person. I don't think he has a love for that child or an understanding of how vulnerable he is.
I know.
And I think his militaristic style of discipline, it's not what a child of autism needs.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And so now the other caller is closer to this family than I am, but I am about an hour from Nashville.
Okay.
And my son was in and out of Vanderbilt Children's Hospital a lot because I didn't know if he was going to live for a long time. But there was a time before my son came along that I had to drive Interstate 40 from Nashville to Memphis a number of times.
Yeah.
So that's 100 miles of straight interstate. And I can tell you that there are numerous exits in which you can get off and you are in rural within a mile.
Good to know.
My mind goes to that poor child somewhere between Nashville and Memphis.
That's so possible. As you say that, I'm getting all kinds of feelings about that. Yeah, that's a gigantic stretch of area of land from, you know, Nashville to Memphis area. Like, yeah, he could, I hate to say it, but he could be anywhere over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you about the discipline too. Is like with my daughter who had Tourette syndromes and she would have the meltdowns. No amount of saying threats, like if you do this, you're going to get in trouble, or if you do this, the result, nothing would work like that. The only thing that would work is trying to preempt it, trying to keep stress to a minimum, and also trying to just kind of wait for it to subside. But there's no way it would have a positive effect to put any kind of threats or you're in trouble or any kind of discipline while something like that was going on. So if the stepfather was trying that kind of stuff, that was just not the right thing for someone with autism.
Right. I know. And it sounded to me, and I don't mean to be dramatic about it, but like he would probably try to whoop his ASS.
Yeah, and that's not going to help. It's going to have the opposite. It's going to have the opposite thing, which is going to make him more stressed out. And when he's more stressed out, he's going to have more meltdowns. So,
100%.
yeah,
Right.
his way of discipline is he was wrong, you know, but he was a new husband, and he's got this idea that it's power and control that's going to make him obey or do this, and not a kid with autism. And like I said, the father said that the stepfather called him and said, you know, I got to tell you, the marriage is on the rocks. I can't deal with Sebastian and his problems anymore. Like literally, it was a problem in the house.
So it's like an ultimatum, Donna, is what you're, something like that.
It was an absolute ultimatum for the mother. Send your kid to have custody to the ex-husband that you hate, or we're done. So then you imagine the mother stressed out to top it all off.
What was that you said?
To me, it's like gotcha parenting.
Yeah, gotcha.
To me, it smacks of, I'm going to watch and wait for you to do something wrong, and then I'm going to pounce on you. That's what it felt like to me when I hear him talking. And additionally, the mother said that he also has a chromosomal abnormality.
Yep.
So there's some kind of chromosome deletion. Now, my son with Down syndrome, that's an extra chromosome on the 21st. And there's 3 different types of Down syndrome. I won't go too deeply in the weeds.
Yes.
But on top of the autism, there's some sort of chromosomal abnormality.
Okay.
And, you know, my son is not very verbal. Now, she said her son is high functioning, but they need a calm environment that is so that they don't get sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I use a lot of redirection with my son, and it requires a lot of patience and compassion.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
You know, I just, you know, it's honestly just smiling at my son, and it goes so much farther. And discipline, I mean, that's about training. That's what discipline means. You know, it takes patience. And I think for some people, discipline is only punitive.
Right.
It just, like I said, it yanks my heart out of my chest that this poor child has been missing for 3 weeks. And
sad.
Anyway, but that's the idea that occurred to me. I'm separated from a narcissist, and I had to get my children safe. Yes. So, you know, I'm working on if I can, you know, get this divorce, you know, but we're 3 years separated because he was being cruel to my children, and it was increasing. So
thank God you got away.
Yes. You know, your children, you have to think about your children.
Yes, you do.
There's no man
that's
worth it.
No.
Your children need to be safe.
Exactly. And there is no redo. You got one shot at it. No. You can't redo this. You got to take care of your children first before any man.
That's right. There's things that get planted in their little hearts and in their souls. Anyway, it breaks my heart. To see his mother not have any more care and compel her son that's missing, and they're more concerned about their image and who's talking about them in a bad way, and trying to control the narrative and who they're going to speak with. Just get out there and find your son. And anyway, those were my thoughts.
No, you're right. And there's this tremendous lack of urgency. Why is there no freaking urgency? Your kid is missing.
For a child that's vulnerable.
Right.
He's so vulnerable.
Yeah. My mind's blown. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, it wrings my heart out. It absolutely
shatters my heart into a million pieces. So I pray they find this child and that they're able to get him with his biological father.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm praying for. I'm just hoping.
Yeah, us too. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for calling in.
Bye.
I was just talking to you. Take care.
You.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, like how could mom not just be on every network beating down the doors like, who has my kid? Where is he?
Yeah. Their body language and the way the stepfather takes over. And even I haven't, I guess it's normal if you called someone. Oh, was another call.
I'm sorry, Donna.
No, it's okay. It's totally okay.
Okay. Hi, this is Lauren. Oh, it's doing it. Okay, I've got you right here. Hold on. I guess there's let me do. Okay, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. How's it going?
This is Sharon from Texas.
Hey, Sharon from Texas. How are you feeling about this Sebastian case?
Well, I had a question for you if you'd heard anything about it. I don't remember exactly whose video it was on,
Okay.
but I was watching and they were talking about the Sebastian case.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought up the fact that the stepfather had an up-and-coming court case,
Yeah.
that was coming up, and it had to do with, I don't know if it was a custody or if it was
I think it's
TV,
custody.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know, but supposedly the mother was supposed to testify as a character witness for him.
Okay, I heard that too.
And then they said Sebastian was supposed to testify.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, if this was for the defense or if this was for, the prosecution. I mean, were they worried about what this kid was going to say?
That's a good point. That's a real good point.
I fell on that right away. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe the stepfather was worried what he was going to say.
Ooh.
Yeah. This sounds like that family had a lot of stressors coming in.
I agree. I think you're making such a relevant point here. If that's the case.
Yeah, because I can catch up. I mean, I just click on stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, no. If he was supposed to testify, what was that about?
Right. How can we shut him up?
About?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, I just wanted to call and put my 2 cents in.
I'm glad you did. Yeah. That's a fantastic
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. I hope you have
a lovely day.
Oh, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. What a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I don't think it would be a motive to kill him because they were already going to send him. The father wanted custody and they were already going to send him to live with the father. So if it was only, but
to be
about the stress of it, just the stress building in the house. The stepfather wants out of the marriage if he has to deal with this autistic kid anymore. The mom, if she has mood swings, tell me if there's a call.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, it is a good point. It's one more stressor.
Yeah, hold on. Hi, this is Lauren. Can you hear me? Hey, good. How's it going?
Not bad. It's Shauna.
Shauna, what's going on? How are you feeling about everything?
I'm fine. Well, I want to throw my 2 cents real quick.
Yeah.
I've been watching here and there. I try not to get too invested because it becomes overwhelming and you don't know what's fact and what's fiction.
Yep.
Well, the father and the mother were on another platform. And 2 things that stuck out to me. A, when he admitted to, which clearly he thinks being open and honest is going to exonerate him or ease suspicion. He talks about, hitting the boy with a belt because Sebastian didn't have a belt, which I think is weird. I think everybody thought that was weird. And also and I think it was that situation that Sebastian alerted somebody and then CPS came and questioned the stepfather, and overall he called him a liar. He's like, "No, you were wrong for telling on me." Basically.
I heard that.
And I was watching. Yeah, it was on Peter Hyatt. I just love him, and I love when all my platforms overlap with like you and Reverend Donna. I think that's all that you had Peter Hyatt on it. because it's making me feel really uncomfortable. I want to give them give them the benefit of the doubt. I hope he's found. But each day that passes makes me feel more and more uncomfortable. And also, I watched an interview with his father, his biological dad. This man is out there every day, took off work.
I know.
And I'm hoping he will find him. Unfortunately, I don't think if he does find him, he'll be alive, because like you had said before, how can he survive all by himself and being vulnerable as
For
he
sure.
is? I don't. That couples make me more and more. I'm so uncomfortable. Right now, I'm so uncomfortable with what's going on. So
I know, it's so
that's all I want
tragic.
to say.
Hi, Shauna.
Okay.
And
I
Donna says,
recognize your voice. I recognize your voice. How are you doing?
Oh yeah.
She's in my psychic school.
"Oh, she is cool, awesome."
Yes. I love it.
That's
I
awesome.
can't wait.
Yeah, we were practicing with pictures. So if anyone out there is practicing, I was showing them to find the picture where you can see into his eyes, and then soften your gaze and stare into his soul and see what you pick up.
Because the eyes tell the story a lot.
Yeah.
Right, Donna?
So did you do that a little more? Did you do that a little more, Shauna?
Yes, and it's right now I'm getting chills to talking about it, because it's something I just don't feel good about, and maybe I should just stop listening.
I know.
Some of this stuff, but even just a little bit I've exposed myself to, and the fact that thankfully we don't have to do a lot of guessing, because these people are out here talking.
They
So the
are
parents, the
like
mother,
Don Wells.
It's like keep talking. Yeah. Just keep talking. Now, so yeah, that's another situation. I think Don Wells is a liar, a pathological liar. So all the truth and lies get really muddy because he's so good at it. These two, I don't think they're very good liars.
Yeah.
I think they are justifying what happens in their mind is the truth. And that's going off a little bit with what Peter Hyatt did. He did a phenomenal job. He said, did you watch it, Lauren? Peter Hyatt, the whole...
I did. I'm going to go back and rewatch it again, though, because I was somewhat asleep.
Yeah.
I need to listen once more, though, because it was brilliant from what I could hear. I was just kind of dozing.
Oh, it was. I only watched it once. Yeah. But when he said he thinks they locked him out, and then they locked him out as punishment, I think they were punishing him a lot. And then the fact that his father said that they made him wear a diaper at their house, and yet he never wore one at his. That's stressing me out.
I know
that they were psychologically and physically, definitely emotionally abusing that young man. And he's so sweet. I don't know how you do that to anybody except that you're a horrible person.
15
but I
years
think
old.
But if they lost. I know. He's so sweet and genuine. And if they locked him out, I would think, and his father's been looking for him every day, that he would have found him. I don't know how long it's been, but at least 2 weeks he would have found his body. So I think they did dispose of him.
I know. That's the impression I get right now, too.
That's
yeah. But, I will say, I've gone back and forth a number of times going, I just know they did something. And then I'm going, but maybe, like one of these other theories, like
maybe he's having a Forrest Gump experience somewhere, and maybe he'll show up. And it happens. It happens.
Right.
Like, look at the one with Sylvia Brown, where she was saying some boy was dead, and it turned out he was alive the whole time. And he unfortunately was in an SO's apartment, but that was better than being dead, And so we can only pray and hope for something. Did you get any flashes of like, okay, if you followed and thought he was maybe passed, did you get any flashes of where he might be now, his remains, if he is deceased, Shauna?
Oh, no, I didn't. And I mean, I'm just like you, Lauren. I'm not comfortable with, I'm going back and forth. Maybe it's a lot. And then Donna, I'm so glad you brought up that story. And I've asked, what was the name of that? I'm going to look that up.
Sylvia Brown. She was a psychic, and I think she, she maybe got a little lazy when she got older. You know, and she had helped on at least 1,000 police cases, and then there was a missing boy, and she just said, "Oh, he's dead," you know, and then the police found him like 9 months later, and he was at some SO's apartment, and for the rest of her life. For the rest of her life. They never talked about all the books she wrote and all the things she did and all the people she helped. All they talked about was that one case where she said this boy was alive or dead, and then he was alive. So it's like,
so sad.
You know.
Yeah. The one time she gets it wrong and she's reminded forever.
That's all they talked about from
Right, exactly.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I want to believe I want to believe he's alive. I don't have any feeling. I just have very intense feelings of there's something not right. I think a lot of us are very in tune to that there's something that isn't right in the situation, whatever's happening. But I'm so glad his father is out there looking. I mean, that's what nervous energy does when you don't know what to do. You shouldn't be sitting at home. But, you know, you're not supposed to judge people and how they grieve and blah, blah, blah. But you definitely don't go on a press tour. But then you can say that about his father. But his father is also saying, hey, meet me in Tennessee at 6 o'clock in the morning at this address. Help me search.
Yeah.
He is doing that.
He's doing something.
Which I think right there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, that's beyond something. That's someone
big.
who wants to find his son.
Right. He does.
That's like
Yeah.
So if he's saying meet me on the street at this time, that means like he's for real.
He is. He's
So,
for real.
Yeah.
I don't think he finds them.
I
Anyway,
agree.
I'm off to work. Thank
Okay.
you, ladies. I'm so glad I got to see y'all today, and I'll
Good
still
to-
be listening.
Yeah, good
Bye,
to talk to
Shauna.
you, Shauna. Take care. Have a good work
Yeah,
day.
nice to talk to y'all. You
Okay.
too.
All right.
Okay, bye.
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 Awesome. Yeah, it's such good points.
I think everyone agrees that there's something weird about the dynamics of the mom and the stepdad.
I know. I think so too, Donna. Something not quite right. Okay, we'll take this will be the last. By the
Okay.
Hi, this is Lauren. Can you hear me?
Hey, Lauren, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can, clearly.
I just called in, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes ago we were on the line. It's so hard to, go through the chat. But
Yeah.
quick question, and
Okay.
I wanted to ask Donna something while she's here.
Yep.
One, as far as, well, actually, let me start with this. Donna, your training that you do on YouTube, how can we find that? Because that is something I am extremely interested in. I hope you don't mind, Lauren, me asking
No, that's
Donna
fine.
how we can
Yeah.
go into her school on YouTube.
So if you go on my YouTube channel and there's the tabs that say video and playlist and stuff, if you go all the way over to the right, if you're on a cell phone, you have to swipe the tabs. But if you go all the way over to the right, there's one that says membership. And then there's a drop down that says psychic school. So if you just do the basic membership, which is like $3.99 a month or something, there is a bunch of videos of psychic exercises. But then if you go into the psychic school one, then 3 times a month, I do the Zoom group. I upload a short video and say, here's the Zoom link for the group. So there is going to be a class tomorrow, and it's going to be about like removing the blocks, because we all have psychic abilities, all of us, that we could turn on if we want to turn them on. So that's, and then we do some psychic exercises and people ask questions and stuff. So it's fun.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks I was curious about that. So I hope that helped other people out too. And Lauren,
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Oh, yeah.
giving Donna a shout out here. I love her.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Last question, and I don't know if you've gathered this or not, Reverend Donna, but do you have any thought or have you seen anything like with a third party being involved
Good
in this?
question.
Or is that not
I
something
kind of
you
keep wondering that myself. Like I'm under the understanding that I'm looking on my pendulum to see if it says anything. I'm under the understanding that the stepfather has a lot of family there, which is why he wanted to move back. And also that they have a lot of different properties in the area. And mostly when people do kill someone, they dispose of the body in places they're familiar with. So, you know, it would be stupid to put it on any relative's property. But there's Chad Daybell for you. So
That's what I always think of too.
so I don't know the answer. Like, I have to listen to the recording because I kind of just been watching and hoping that, you know,
Sure.
praying for a good outcome, and then hoping that, kind of feeling like, I feel like TBI and stuff has an idea of what occurred,
Okay.
but it's just they have to have proof of it or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I would say I don't know the answer, but it's a good question.
Donna, would you
That's fair.
consider, I'm putting you on the spot, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would you consider maybe uploading that, what you did on Sebastian, or are you going to keep that private?
I don't even have a plan. I didn't even listen to it because what happened was I had done it. I had done it the same day I talked to his dad, and I had done it before I talked to his dad, actually preparing to talk to his dad, and not sure. I wasn't sure when I called him, are we going to be doing a reading or what are we going to be doing here? Yeah. And so I didn't end up listening to it. I talked to his dad for 2 hours, and I also used to volunteer at a crime victims advocacy place. And I just sensed that his dad wanted him home alive so much that it wasn't really psychologically ready to really delve into if he was true. And so I just kind of left it alone. I didn't even listen to it. So if there's something, I'll listen to it within this weekend. And if there's anything on it, I will upload it. I will. I just also wanted, like, I don't want to hurt people.
I know.
You know?
Yes.
I don't want to cause drama. I don't want to cause stress. I don't want to interfere with an investigation. I want to be doing, I truly am into this to try to make a difference in cases where possibly I can make a difference. So I was just trying to weigh everything together. And, but yeah, no, if I pick up anything, I will upload it. If I'm seeing it and it's so like, okay,
Weird.
I know she did this at this time and he did this at that time, I'll go ahead and upload it.
I hope you do, Donna, because think about how many believers you made from the Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow case. I lost her. I'm so sorry I lost you. From that case alone, I mean, thousands of us witnessed you solve that case single-handedly.
That one was good, and it will always stand out because nobody was copying what I said.
Nobody
after that,
believed you.
every time I uploaded after that, people just copy me. It's like this big trail of people copying me. Yeah. But that case, everyone thought I was insane.
I thought you were insane.
I don't think other psychics were generally copying me too much. I mean, the stuff I was saying was just outrageous. And so it attracted people's attention. And when it all came out to be these precise details true, I got so many letters from people saying, you know, I never believed in the afterlife, and watching you do that, I now believe, and I've changed my life. Or at least examined my life and my belief system. And I want you to know the difference you've made. And I thought, with all that reaction, I couldn't have done that in 20 years at church. 20 years, you know. For 6 years, I stood on the stage every other week and gave messages. I couldn't have done that for the next 20 years. The impact that made on people's lives, besides possibly helping with information that led to a resolution, but the impact on people's lives is also equally important. You know, that
huge.
The spirit people want everyone to know that they're real. The spirit world wants people to know, and anyone that disguises that is not in the best interest of the people, because the spirit people want you to know the spirit world is real.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me. Like I've told you a million times, I never believed in any of this. I just never really thought about it too.
Yeah.
But it was undeniable. There was undeniable proof that I couldn't just ignore, because I heard what you said before they were found. And then hearing all the testimony, you know, from just the various people who knew what happened and what came out in the news, it was like, this lady, I just witnessed the weirdest thing, and I felt like I had to tell the world about it. And that's what I made my first 5 videos on YouTube about.
In your closet.
It
And they were like, there's this lady talking about you. And it was really weird because prior to them finding the bodies, I was so focused on making sure that happened that it wasn't about my own trauma. But then after they found the bodies, it was like I actually went to bed for 3 days. I was sick and I was so traumatized. And then everyone kept texting me like, oh, you're right. They're chopped up, blah, blah, or the girl's chopped up, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't even listen. And people said, there's this lady that keeps talking about you, making videos. And then I finally tracked Lauren down and said hi to her. And we just kind of struck up a friendship.
Yeah, we did. It's, in my opinion, it's so unlikely, 2 random people in the world becoming friends over the most tragic thing ever. But like, I truly believe that you help in these cases. And honestly, this Sebastian Rogers, there was never a more perfect case that I feel you could help in, because it is so mysterious. And
if I listen to that, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
If I listen to that reading and there's nothing on it, I'll try to do another one. Okay. And part of it is me also I want them to be alive.
I know you do.
I really want them to be alive. But I'll try. I see the father looking around and looking in places, and it's he could be out there somewhere, and I just hope he is. But I'll try, and I think that biological father deserves an answer.
He
one way or another.
Really trying to find his boy, and I'm sure he wants to know, what happened. So sad.
Yeah, and like I'm glad for the mother of Riley, even though this is a horrible tragedy. I'm glad they found his remains so that she can bring him home and bury him properly, and things like that matter to parents.
Yeah. Completely. I know. Thank God she can have that closure now.
Yeah. She can begin grieving now because now she has the answer.
Right. And to me, she is the picture of how a mother should act when her child is missing.
Generally, yeah. And like Michael Vaughan's mother, Brandy, you could tell she was in very real pain. She was very begging for her child. Yeah, I
agree. Well done. It's been so nice. Thank you for coming on. I know it was spur of the moment, spontaneous. I love that you're spontaneous. Thank you
I'm glad to thank you for having me, Lauren.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it.
It's always fun to visit with you, especially when we have people in here. When we don't have people in the chat, we're a little bit more candid, just a little bit. We're a little more crazy.
Yeah. When we're talking about stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody, for being here. For all your support, please, if you could do one thing right now, hit the like button. It will help this video be seen by everybody who should see it today.
It really does. It makes, there's an algorithm. If you subscribe or press like or leave a comment, then they show it to new people. That's what happens. So it really does matter to do that.
Yes, it does. And we just really want to get the message out, that here we have Donna. There's a good chance she might speak on this subject after she really looks into it. And that would help a lot for understanding,
I'll try one way or another and see if I can get an answer within a couple of days.
Thanks, Donna. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Don't traumatize yourself. I know that it does. I know we talked about it recently. You go.
And the SO ones really do. The SO ones are even like if something happened to Sebastian by his mom and stepdad, I don't think it was planned evilness. I think it was stress in the household, and people usually do offenses when they're super stressed out. There's, the marriage is falling apart. People have tempers, control issues, and something happened,
For sure.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Wow. Well, thanks again, everybody. Good to see you. And until next time, we'll do this again.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. See ya. Bye, Donna. Take care.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye.